science. This is the story of a caregiver and a young girl with special needs, told through dancing ways. It highlights growth, celebration, and achievement with joy at its Nartan-Ek Safar Sakshamta Ka. Every journey begins with a first step. This is the story of that first step, where a small hope turned into a powerful dream. On this point, especially, still has become an important part of schools, and this is only possible under the guidance of guru, glowing harvest. When passion becomes life, the destination reveals itself. She is no longer just learning, as learning how to fly. Leaving wings, Ishanvi begins to perform, own the stage, and feel natural. As slowly step back, letting her be. This is not the final chapter. This is a celebration of a victory, a triumph, a dance of empowerment. No organizations. It is very happy. And I'm really happy. That's funny. We didn't listen to business. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank everyone who has come into my life and played a role in guiding, motivating, and helping me throughout this journey. Your support, advice, and encouragement have made a lasting impact, and I'm truly grateful to each one. Thank you for being part of my story. Thank you, Shikha, for that wonderful, wonderful performance. Ishanvi and Shikha, please remain on stage for 2 more minutes. Please. Yes. Um, I invite Ms. Prasad to please step on stage and felicitate Ishanvi. Sridevi Prasad is the founder of Shankar Foundation. I also want to use this opportunity to call a long-time volunteer Kedar, who has been part of our extended family. Kedar has been supporting his mother from residing to the base of our chat box and creating engaging slow packages for parents and students. Thank you, Kedar. I request Prachi to please join us stage. Yes, my friend stage. She's also a good shaker. Yes. Yeah.
I just wanted to share she's probably a great dancer, but very good cricket player. Recently, we played in HBS. It's a 10 overs match, and our children won by 32 runs. Wonderful performance in country. And it's how artists. Thank you, Sridevi. Okay, the next segment is a walk down memory lane, a reflection on Naidisha's incredible 10-year journey. Two people who have been an integral part of this story will take us through that journey in conversation. They have witnessed our humble beginnings, our milestones, and the many stories that have shaped who we are today. Prachi, as you all know, is the founder director of Nayi Disha and a caregiver herself. An Ashoka Fellow, a deep empathy and unwavering belief in the power of families are reflected in every part of Nayi Disha's work. Sudarshana, Managing Trustee, Gender at Work India, co-founder and active board member of Nayi Disha, is an experienced gender equality specialist, a rich background in both the development and private sectors. So fasten your seatbelts as we get ready to relive the moments, memories, and milestones that have defined us. Oh, wow. Once more. Please, once more, once more. So fasten your seatbelts as we get ready to relive the moments, memories, and milestones that have defined this extraordinary journey. It really feels surreal to be here. 10 years since we started talking about what support system, maybe not even, as you say, something, not even the name at that time, not even the idea of an organization. Um, Looking, and there was also fuzzy then, right? Just when we started, we used to keep walking and talking, really. So, in those days, and from then, if you want to talk the video about how as a caregiver your thoughts of her as a sibling, but what gave you courage to kind of convert that into a collective cause? One thing I want to add, we used to talk more than we used to walk. That's first. That still continues to be the case. Um, In fact, back then I was not just a caregiver to one, two, but three of my family members. And well, my preference was to support an existing initiative rather than do something on my own. But then I started volunteering and met this mother. She used to come to the place I was volunteering, traveling 35 kilometers, paying for an auto she couldn't afford, not knowing what was happening inside, not knowing that there might be support available very close to where she lived. It really baffled me that after 38 years, the challenges remain the same, quite the same that my parents had faced 38 years back. And in this age of technology, if we are not able to provide information to family caregivers, there's something absolutely wrong with what we are doing. And that led to, so the courage that you're talking about, Sudarshana, was if not now, when? If not me, who? And that really led to the beginning of Naidisha. But. I had a personal connect. A lot of people sitting here who are running organizations doing fabulous work are also family members. What drew you to this initiative, Nayi Disha? Sudarshana?
Uh, I've been working on the issues of equality and inclusion all my working life almost. But that was from a gender lens. And when I started being with you, being around you, seeing how you showed up as a caregiver, the daily challenges that you were facing, your own experiences of that volunteering that we saw, I felt that this all is talking about equality and inclusion is really hollow. If you're not able to kind of think about this and address the issue of people who live with disabilities, we're really very very far away of a world which is talking about equality and inclusion. If you're not able to place them at the center of our own perspectives, so that was one big shift from just being with you, around you, with the people that you were around. The other was, when we kind of started looking at this and, when we saw the response, often it came from the sense of, maybe compassion at best, pity at most times. And people were not really looking at this issue from a systemic lens. And therefore, all our efforts since then have been how do we come at it from a more systemic perspective, and can we then think about what can we do as creating that system for the caregivers. That's what we need to finish. Uh, you know, we started on this journey, we continued on this journey. As we kind of grew, everybody started telling us, you have to start measuring what you do. So we had our theory of change, our log frames, all these metrics, and everybody asked us for more numbers because that's a short form for are you measuring, right? And yet, there are so many stories, there are so much, which all impact that you can't really measure through those numbers. That's how do we make sense of those stories? How do we see impact in those stories?
Numbers are important, data is important. As an organization based in technology and data, our team just won an award in Mumbai amongst multiple non-profits. So let me start with that. But we do know that impact is not just about numbers. You just saw Shikha here. We have had parents who have been volunteers, parent champions, many of whom are sitting here and meeting you. I was all ears, thinking about the first time we met and all of that. Many of the parent champions have joined and been the employees of Nayi Disha taking the torch forward. And that is impact. Impact happens when a sibling from a very small village in Uttar Pradesh calls on the helpline and gets guidance about how she supports her sibling with activities of daily living. Impact happens when a newly diagnosed baby's father finds support in another parent in his local community and comes to accepting his baby with Down syndrome. Impact happens when a mother who has been absolutely isolated in her journey impact happens when all of these communities come together and a family caregiver feels that they're no longer alone. So I don't know how we measure this through data. We continue to strive. Our monitoring evaluation team thinks about these, but these are the on-ground stories we see every day. I was just sitting downstairs and Prasad sir asked me who does most of the caregiving, and it is invariably 90% of the times it's the mother.
There were countless such stories as we grew. In every year that we grew, and every single parent who joined with us, and every professional who joined our ecosystem, and we started all of those grew and grew, organically sometimes, sometimes by trying to be very mindful of where we are going to be. But each of those has been such an amazing journey for us. And we're really grateful for every parent who's here today, every parent who's been on the journey with us, every donor who's with us, and who hope will be with us going forward. And every staff, we've now have a team of 35 amazing people with us, which is from that first employee who joined us to this 35. That's also an amazing for us. And this, but as we move to the next decade, Prachi, what is that hope that we want to leave? We're really grateful for all of you, but what is that hope that we want to leave everyone with who's been with us on this journey?
So we talk about numbers, right? We have to talk about numbers as a non-profit. We talk about having reached 9 lakh people, 62,000 families who are connected with us, and we feel very happy about it. But with the most conservative estimate, there are 31 million people with developmental disabilities in India, and this is a conservative estimate, which means there are 31 million families who require support and who will do their best for their child with the right support at the right time. So I'm thinking about the Carpenter's song, we have only just begun. These are just the baby steps that we have started with. We started as a technology-based platform, creating this digital ecosystem. When I first met Vivek to say, will you come on our board? He said, oh, so it's the digital system you're trying to create. But over time, we have realized the power of community, what the community can do by coming together. And mind you, community is not just of parents or family caregivers of our parent champions, but it is also the therapists, the educators, the physicians, the NGOs, the schools that work together. We are working very closely with the programs we have initiated with the government, one with Department of Persons with Disabilities centrally and the Women and Child Department in some states. And we are keen to partner with them so that we can ensure that family support reaches every nook and corner of the country.
And here's to hoping that we are able to reach in the next decade of our journey to every nook and corner of the country and build and replicate those communities. And back to you, Prasad, with that.
Prachi and Sudarshana, please, we are not letting you go as yet. Ye dil mange more, because you've been talking about all serious stuff, and we want to know thodi andar ki khabar and quirky stuff about you. We have a list of around 25 questions that we as employees wanted to know, but in the interest of time,
you can just jump off right now.
no, in the interest of time, we stick to 3. So the first question is, who among you is the dreamer and who's the realist?
Dreamer, realist.
Do you concur? Sudarshana, do you concur with that?
I'm the realist, but she's a dreamer and an executioner. I mean, look at the amazing organization that Prachi has really created.
So the next question, and something that we discussed yesterday also, what advice would you give each other besides get more sleep?
Get more sleep.
Letting go.
Okay. And I promise this is the last one. If you could compare Nayi Disha to a person in the present form, who would it be? Some personality, somebody.
I think Nayi Disha is about community. So rather than one person, we should compare it to the women's cricket team of India,
Why
which
not?
is getting better day by day.
I concur.
Okay. Thank you so much. We'll let you go. Over to you, Madhura.
Thank you, Prachi. Thank you, Sudarshana. What an inspiring walk down memory lane. It's truly amazing to see how far Nayi Disha has come, powered by vision, perseverance, and a deep belief in the strength of families. I would now like to invite our chief guest, Mr. GV Prasad, co-chairman and managing director of Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, for the keynote address. Mr. Prasad has been associated with Dr. Reddy's Laboratories as a board member since 1986 and has been in a full-time leadership role since 1990. Under his visionary guidance, Dr. Reddy's has grown from a mid-sized domestic operation into a diversified and trusted global pharmaceutical leader. Beyond the corporate sphere, Mr. Prasad actively supports social and environmental causes and serves on the boards of leading educational institutions. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. GV Prasad. Just turn it on and off.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that welcome. And it's so overwhelming to see the kind of work you're doing here. While I was sitting next to Prachi, I asked her, predominantly, is it the men or the women who do the caregiving, though I knew the answer. And she said over 90% cases are that the women are the people who do the whole work. Who said they were the weaker sex? They are the stronger sex. They are the people who really do all the very difficult, impossible work. I'm a wildlifer and I go on a lot of these trips. And one of my trips, I saw a cheetah with babies, and there was a lion coming up. And she quickly made a call, and the cubs went down and hid somewhere. But she was scared of the lion because the lion can pick up the scent and go after them. It went and actually attacked the lion. And the lion was, just surprised by this thing. And it slowly stopped and then walked away. And she saved her babies. And I saw what a power of the mother who took care of her cubs, putting her life at risk. So as I see the work that all the caregivers do for their children and for the others, it's really the power of womanhood, and we must celebrate this. You know, the work that you do is really amazing. It is very, very emotionally difficult. It's also physically difficult, and there's a lot of, empathy that is required to continue this work. And in our house, in our family, I am not the generous person. Again, it's my wife who taught me to give, to be philanthropic and all that. But I really thought that the government in its wisdom did some wonderful stuff by putting the 2% CSR on corporates. Because of that, companies are discovering the power of giving, the power of social work, community, and really helping solve some of the problems at least. And this is in turn triggering personal philanthropy, getting leaders, senior leaders engaged in social work. So that's one good thing I think we should applaud the government for. Um, this country has many, many problems, and the government alone cannot solve these problems. These problems require all of us to put our hands behind it. Again, along with this, even before CSR and ESG became fashionable terms, we were involved in community work. In early days, it was livelihoods, creating livelihoods for unemployed youth, and then we went into healthcare a little bit, and also education, and now into environment. But most recently, we are working with creating employability for people with disabilities. And I have never been to these places till a year ago. Now when I go there and I see these children, the enthusiasm with which they learn, the speed with which they learn, and the rapid sign language, all the things that they do, it is really amazing. The kind of power they have, the kind of ability to learn they have, dedication, in spite of everything around them. And it kind of taught me, something that, one's life is not just about profits, quarterly earnings, share price, but really to do something beyond the business itself. Um, and as I see organizations like yours with very limited resources having a huge impact, it also talks about the power of technology, the power of community, and how you're mixing and blending technology with empathy and community to create this kind of large scale impact. Technology is an interesting thing that you've used technology to really meet a very interesting need for a nation at scale. I know there's a lot more to be done and a lot more reach that is required, but this is one of the most fascinating uses of technology, and we should, really celebrate technology also as a enabler of impact at scale. Um, I think, as we look at our country, we can find solutions if we all work together. And I hope the government creates uh, platforms and enablement and also support to these initiatives along with the private sector. Um, Congratulations, and I wish you all very best. And if there's any way we can all help, happy to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We agree. Women are the force behind Nayi Disha also. 90% of our employees are women. I would like to request Vivek, co-founder and executive director of Fourth Partner Energy and president of Nayi Disha Executive Committee, to join us on stage to honor our chief guest, Mr. Prasad. Thank you, Mr. Prasad and Vivek. Can I now invite our board members Hari, Joe, Nilima, and Sudarshana to join us on stage along with Prachi for the unveiling of our 10-year special report. And we would also request Mr. Prasad to please come back. And Vivek also, please. This report chronicles a decade of learning, growing, and reimagining what's possible when families are empowered with knowledge and connected through community. I would like to invite Dr. Pramod Gaddam from Divis Foundation for Gifted Children to join us on stage. I request Sudarshana to honor Dr. Pramod Gaddam, please. It is my pleasure to also invite Dr. Lokesh Lingappa, consultant pediatric neurologist at Rainbow Hospital for Women and Children. Dr. Lingappa is also part of our advisory board. Okay, sorry, he's not here. I apologize. Okay. Now, sorry, I have missed one part. I'm sorry. We are now actually unveiling the report properly. So please claps again. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Please remain on stage. We'd like to thank a few people and have a little bit of a photo op here. Thank you. We now take a short moment to acknowledge the generous support of our donors, whose belief in Nayi Disha's vision has made this 10-year journey possible. May I invite our esteemed donors, Ms. Anuradha Mullat, E2 Open, Mr. Chetan Kapoor, Tech Mahindra Foundation, Ms. Neetu Chadda, State Street, and Ms. Shruti Gaur, Bajaj FinServe CSR, to please join us on stage for a group photograph as we capture this moment of gratitude and partnership. Thank you. I request Ms. Anuradha, Mr. Chetan, Ms. Neetu, and Ms. Shruti Gaur and Hari to remain on stage. I request the others to please take their seats in the audience. I now request Shanti, Operations Head at Nayi Disha, to come forward to honor our donors with a small token of our gratitude. E2 Open has been part of our journey by supporting the creation of our digital platform. Ms. Anuradha Mullat, Director DevOps Product Development. TMF and Nayi Disha have had a long and robust collaboration. It is heartening to see the ripple effect of Nayi Disha's work through TAN, the Ability Network by Tech Mahindra Foundation, a collaborative ecosystem that carries forward the vision to empower persons with disabilities and their caregivers across India. Nayi Disha is proud to actively contribute to this initiative by building local support systems such as the Samat Parivar project under this umbrella. We are honored to have Mr. Chetan Kapoor here with us. He's the CEO of Tech Mahindra Foundation. Our next donor, State Street, has contributed in the development of our LLM-based chatbot, which is also now integrated into our helpline. Ms. Neetu Chadda is the Assistant Vice President, Global AML Center, Risk Excellence and Quality Control at State Street. And last but not least, Bajaj FinServ has been contributing to our helpline and the Saki image that we have outside. So thank you to all our donors. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank two of our donors, Callright and Fourth Partner Energy, who have been a part of this journey and have supported us in various ways, and Divis Foundation for sponsoring Nayi Disha's Caregiver Changemaker Award this year. Before we move ahead, I'd like to take a short moment to acknowledge a few more guests who have joined us today. Dr. Hima from Ankura Hospital, Mr. Ilango AP from CHRO Service Now, Mr. Kavikrut, CEO of T-Hub, Professor Madan Pilutla, Dean of Indian School of Business, Mr. Pascal Pauls, CIO of Colruyt Group Belgium, Dr. Pratima Giri, Neurodevelopmental Pediatrician, Rainbow Children's Hospital, Mr. Venkat Ramesh, CHRO and Head CSR at Colruyt Group India, Mr. Shrikant Srinivasan, Vice President, NASCOM Foundation, Ms. Meera Shenoy, Founder and ED for Youth for Jobs. Your presence means a great deal to us and adds immense value to this celebration today.
Our next segment is a panel discussion on caregivers are change makers, changing lives, changing attitudes. It celebrates those who remind us that care has the power to transform. Today's discussion brings together a caregiver who embodies lived experience, a global leader who believes in creating systems of sustained impact, and a leader of a group that is reimagining healthcare for families who are supporting their loved ones. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished panelists, Mr. Tanmay Singh Pathani, Associate Director, Noora Health. Thank you, sir. Mr. V. Laxmikanth, Managing Partner, Pavestone Capital. And Ms. Triveni Goswami Vernal, researcher, special educator, and a caregiver. To moderate this discussion, we are privileged to have Ms. Jo Chopra, co-founder and executive director of Latika Dehradun and board member of Nayi Disha. Jo is an American who has lived in India since 1981. She leads Latika, a leading non-profit in India, providing services to disabled children and adults. She was a caregiver for her disabled daughter, Moy Moy, until her death at 28, as well as for 4 elderly family members. A writer and a former criminal, having been jailed in America on dozens of occasions as an organizer of peace movements, Jo is also a columnist for Commonwealth magazine in New York and the author of 5 books and hundreds of articles for Indian and international publications. Her latest book, Moy Moy Circle, is a true story of love, disability, and the world we can build together. Please join me in welcoming our panelists and moderator with a warm round of applause.
Hello. Nothing like a little housekeeping before we begin. Hi, everybody. Good to have you all here. I don't know if this is on either. Can you hear me okay? Yeah? Okay.
Can you hear now? Yeah.
I'm going to introduce them again. It's a very interesting group of people, and I think we need to hear just a little bit more. I'm going to start with Triveni. In her early academic career, Triveni's interests were in the progressive global issues such as gender justice and food security. In 2014, when she learned that her son had autism, as so many caregivers do, she changed her whole career trajectory. She applied her analytical skills to the task of creating a better world for him and for many other children. She soon found all the cool stuff that was going on in the world of disability, and using her background in special education and clinical psychology, she began creating creative, inclusive education and arts-based opportunities where all kinds of children can learn and grow. Welcome, Triveni.
Thank you.
Tanmay Singh Pathani is a medical doctor and an associate director of Noora Health, the exciting and innovative organization that's just, I think, 1 year older than Nayi Disha. I think they began in 2014. And they're a pioneer in promoting the importance of family members who care for the medical and daily needs of patients, both in the hospital and at home, a group of people who are typically overlooked. With over 9 years as an enthusiastic and innovative leader in public health, Tanmay enjoys fine-tuning best practices to make them even better and supporting families through Noora's signature Care Companion program. Welcome, Tanmay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And finally, V. Laxmikanth, whom we all may call VLK, is a managing partner at Pavestone Capital, a venture capital firm. He's a recognized leader in the world of business strategy and has over 35 years experience in product development, sales, mergers, and acquisitions, all without ever losing sight of the importance of keeping human beings front and center in all business enterprise. VLK also has a long history of volunteer engagement, both in his professional avatar and as part of a family commitment to supporting inclusion for disabled children. His insights into how corporate giving happens and what business leaders look for when they support nonprofits has already benefited many organizations, and we're hoping to hear more along these lines this evening. Welcome.
Thank you.
So the three of you, we have a remarkable audience here today. We've got our disabled friends, we have caregivers, we have government officials, nonprofit leaders, volunteers, well-wishers, and of course, the amazing Nayi Disha team. Could each one of you take just 1 minute to say something that I didn't say, something you think is relevant that the audience should hear? Can we begin with you?
Let me start off on a lighter note. I didn't know that I was going to share the dais with a hardened criminal out here, but it's a good start. So, I mean, nothing except that I'm on the board of Nirman, which is one of the NGOs out here, and I'm also on the board of Sri Vidya Center for Special Children. That's what's not there. That one is more the profile I share when we go for VC conferences, not for an event like this. So.
Basically for Noora Health, especially and for our Care Companion program, we really believe in the power of a family to heal people, and how care and trust with empowerment and education can lead to significant changes in health outcomes, not even at a personal level, but as a community level where the health system, more people have trust on the health systems they are seeking healthcare from. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think in all that has already been spoken, I think there was a lot of emphasis that was laid on how women are the mostly the caregivers, and I think we tend to exalt maternal strength, and we say like mothers are superheroes, etc. But at the end of the day, we must remember the mothers are humans too. So we must, as caregivers and as maybe other members of the society or the family, we must always remember that self-care should be a priority for everyone, especially the caregiver. And I would think mums should really take some time out for leisure and be kind to themselves, because I think they are their biggest critics.
That's a great point. We'll come back to that. Very important. I'm going to come back to you, Triveni. You entered the world of disability at what could almost be called a Renaissance period, when things were changing dramatically in India and all over the world. We were no longer looking at deficit so much as potential and capacity, and understanding that children, like all of us, develop in different ways, and that the pressures to conform, to be like everybody else, were being removed for everyone, including our disabled kids. What are some of the things that you are, well, let's just say one, because I'm sure there are a lot. What are you most excited about right now in the field of disability?
I think as a parent, I would say, especially post-COVID, there's a lot of information, especially training programs and workshops, etc., that are available online. So it may not be feasible for maybe parents all over, but I would think with the power of the internet, etc., even the most remote, spaces in India can have access to things which they may not have ever had access to earlier. So I would think technology, if used in a proper way, has immense potential for the kind of information that people can consume, and especially caregivers on what they can do for their child. without really going somewhere and, spending time meeting someone. So I think that kind of I think that's something that post-COVID has actually changed the entire scenario.
Do either of you want to add to that, the use of technology in spreading information as well as giving families a sense of empowerment?
In especially in our care companion program, technology has been a constant part of the whole exercise. And yes, with the development of Indian technological stack now time, and with so many improvements which are happening at the technological base, it has really helped us to provide post discharge care and counseling to the people when they have went back home, because most of the time there they need the help, because when they are at the hospital they're often in the care of doctors, nurses who are taking care of them. But reaching out to them in remote areas of India, with the country's WhatsApp penetration increasing significantly and use of internet, that has been really helpful to reach out to each and every people by creating helplines. Chatbots have been really helpful to reach out to these people and continue that empowerment and the change, the behavior change, because behavior change is a long term practice. It cannot be done in very quickly. So that has been very helpful to us, especially in the care companion program. Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great point about use of technology, but we have to always remember that at the end of the technology, there's a human being, right? So, and everything needs to be designed around that human being, and technology is just the enabler. The good thing is now technology has, given you what I call the depth of the distance, because of which that information asymmetry that you had earlier is now removed. But at the same time, today what's happening is there's so much noise. Now, let's say I search for something, I get 150 or 150,000 results. I don't know which one is the right one. Okay. So I think somebody being able to curate that and direct that rather than, misdirect it. And today, a lot of these search engines are now more sponsor oriented rather than the consumer oriented. Now you take Google, I mean, no offense to Google, if you search Google, the first few results are always the sponsors. So I think we need to be thoughtful about that. And the fact that how are we going to navigate those things in this world, especially this is a very sensitive area. This is a very important, there's almost a life and death kind of situation. We need to make sure that the information is accurate, it is right, and it is reliable. So.
That's a really important point. And I think everyone would agree that a lot of misinformation gets spread, particularly about disability. We see doctors tearing their hair out when they see families coming for quack cures for autism or for any number of developmental disabilities, wasting a lot of money on MRIs and stem cell therapy, which is proven not to be effective in the cure for autism, for example. We have 20 minutes left. Thank you. Oh, we're doing very well. You people are very efficient and well-spoken. Thank you. I want to come to you now, VLK. A business friend of mine once told me that if he ran his company the way that NGOs run their organizations, he'd be out of business in a few days. What do you wish that organizations like Nayi Disha or my organization or Noura understood about good practice in running an organization?
I mean, I think I would probably address the question the other way around. That is, the problem today, and I think Dr. Prasad alluded to it, is most organizations today look at everything through a financial/economic lens, right? So, and because that's, and I think Prachi talked about we measure and measure and measure and measure and give some metrics out. Okay, I mean, in my opinion, a lot of the metrics are meaningless. Okay, I mean there is, but I mean these are impact issues, so it's very difficult to have a metric. Let's say I say I respect you. How do I even measure it? Right? And I say I trust you. How do I even measure it? Okay. So some of these things I think corporates need to go beyond measurement. So unfortunately today, if you look at a corporate, it's driven by what we call those four voices: voice of the investor, voice of the employee, voice of the client, and voice of what's happening in the market. Nowadays, we are all talking about the fifth voice, which is the voice of the society, the community, etc., etc. So a lot of these are starting to get built into this corporate thinking process. Let's say today I'm a corporate and I want to invest, or invest is the wrong term. That's my venture capital hat speaking. If I'm a corporate and I look at something, I would rather support something which is infrastructure, which I can go and count. Okay, do you have 10 tables? I bought you 10 tables. Can I see it a year later? 10 computers, yes. But I'll give an example at Broadridge. We supported, along with the MV Foundation, a girls' camp where we bring underprivileged girls off the street and mainstream them. While the school is just the end result, there's a huge set of volunteers whom we need to support who will bring these girls off the street. So organizations need to take that leap of faith and support the entire process, not just the fixed assets in the. And I think that's the big change. I think from somebody like Nayi Disha, they need to look at models like LV Prasad Eye Hospital or the Arvind Eye Hospital, where there is a combination of free plus charge, where they charge people take, kind of subsidize the free one. So Arvind is a great example of that, and they could look to emulate some of those models.
Can I follow up with another question, though? Because I think that the Hari Prasad approach is one that is kind of like an airline. You can go first class, you can go economy, but you're all going to end up at the same destination, because his is it's an operation. A lot of the work that we do is more nurturing families' confidence, supporting children to grow and develop. And that changes if you're working with a community of people who are very poor versus if you're working with a community that's very rich and can afford it. We're all human beings, and we all like to work with children who are dressed well and come clean to school. And so how do you deal with that differentiation?
No, I mean, I think I'm talking the model, right? The end outcome is like you talked of, whether it is caregiver support or emotional support. The model is there are some who will be who will be able to pay, right? There you charge a premium and say that for every one, let's say you're able to pay, I'll tell you that I can do this for you. In turn, you support four more. Okay. And whatever the costs of whether it is technology, support, people, like Prachi was saying, even giving an auto fare for somebody to come to your place, those kind of things can be subsidized. So there are people who can afford, there are people who can't. And the model is about cross subsidizing this.
No, understood
yeah.
that, but it has more implications when you're doing it on a daily basis. Who are the staff that are working with the poor kids? Who are the staff that are working with the rich kids? That's what I'm talking about, because that's the level at which organizations have to think about these things. It's not just flying the plane to Geneva and getting everybody there. Some people get nice food, some people don't, but they all get there.
No, at the end of the day, I do understand the sense that if I can afford something, I want somebody who's more qualified and etc. But I think that's an expectation you need to set. That is, I mean, I'll tell you with Sri Vidya as an example, we supported pretty much their support staff. That is, the caregiver, the nursing staff, their buses. So you need to be able to support the entire ecosystem, and you should not be able to. And the corporate should not differentiate as to what it's going to be. It's very difficult for a corporate to do that, because at the end of the day, they have to report out in their CSR report.
Right.
There'll be some metric. It's extremely difficult, but it's a leadership issue there. So.
Thanks. Let's come to you, Tanmay. I've got a question. Noura has designed a really beautiful approach to healthcare, which values the contribution of the family as critical and sees that as one of the health indicators, that a family that is supported, the patient is also going to do better. Can you explain a little bit about how it works?
Definitely. So what we do, we convert hospital hallways, wards, and any place where patients or their family members are there to learning spaces. So we started with a hospital-based or a very facility-based program with cardiac centers, and then slowly move to maternal and child health, because we wanted to work with the health system and leverage the large government-based public healthcare system we have. And the first opportunity we got was about maternal and child health. So what we do there is we train the family member because uh, as we know in India, when one person is sick, there are three more people who go with them. They really care about that person. And then what happens? The person is admitted into the ward and other people, the family members, are usually roaming around in those hallways. They're very anxious. They sometimes bring food, or they will sometime do the lab checks, go there, here, and there. And when they go back home, they just get a big bag of medicine, and somebody randomly tells them that this is TDS, this is BD, this is 3 times, or this is 4 times, and go back home, you're well. And then many of them come back because from small things like maintaining hygiene of the wound, which was the surgical site, and they come back. So we wanted to work on this, strengthen the health system where people love their loved ones so much. So convert those hallways into learning spaces where people can learn through a trusted partner, which is usually a nurse. And nurses are known to be the backbone of our health system. And most of the nurses, as we have been talking about, are females. And training them into different principles of how to speak, communicate with larger group of people, and then train those people, a group of people, into basics of how they can take better care of their loved ones during the hospital, after the hospital, and going ahead also. So that when the caregiver or the family member leaves the hospital, he's empowered. He knows what I have to do, and he's confident. Then I can take care of my patient, and he's also empowered to take the decisions. Because though maternal and child health, most of the maternal deaths in India and infant deaths in India happen due to the three delays. That is delay in action, delay in access, and delay in travel, because these are the three things which do not exist, or the power of these decisions are not with that woman who is pregnant. It is usually with the mother-in-law, fathers, and all those people, heads of the family. So we also bring them in, especially in these discussions and these care companion programs, learning sessions, so that when they are empowered, they will be able to take best of the decisions. So that is what Care Companion program is about. And recently, in last couple of years, we have entered into the community where we have been supporting communities through different Care Companion program models and approaches, so that families can even have the benefits of learning and getting empowered from their home also, where I was also talking about technology plays an important role there. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Triveni, I think you are probably feeling anxious to talk about the women situation. He talked about women being disempowered, not making their own decisions, even though they're the ones who just gave birth. And you talked earlier about the kind of patronizing uh, sort of sanctification that goes on for women in the field of disability, that we are all so wonderful and we do so much and we give of ourselves. How do you deal your gender justice background? How do you deal with this? You are yourself a mother and a caregiver, and you've seen this kind of inequity built into everything, the way we talk, the way we think, the way we create policies. Give us the
Well,
benefit of
yeah,
your gyan.
as a mom and yeah, with a background like that, maybe theoretically, yes, we all know that these inequalities exist, but being in the situation, I think it's very difficult to sometimes the line between what we live and experience and what we know to be true definitely get blurred. And but it is very important to keep that awareness that you must be aware of, you know, the kind of you know, the dynamics that play out within relationships at home and outside. And you must, at least as a parent and a caregiver, I try to prioritize my mental health. I feel it's very important because caregivers tend to experience burnout, and that burnout is like a ticking bomb. So if we don't prioritize our self-care, whether it's emotional health or physical health or mental health, I think uh, we are creating more problems than we already have. So being aware is important. Having a support group is important. I feel that having a long association with a support group is very important, because then, because I think a lot of parents join support groups for, like this sort of a crisis management thing. They ask a question. When that answer is, whether it's resolved, they sort of leave the group. But it's important to be a part of a support group for a much longer duration, because you learn a lot of things from parents, both young and old, because everyone approaches a problem with a new perspective, and you can gain so much from just discussing new things with people. So I think, yes, with the background that I have, I feel that I may be more aware, but definitely when you're living or you're caught in a situation, the lines do get blurred. So being around a support group is very important, because at least you have people you can speak with, you can discuss things, and maybe you can also find some sort of remediation from, like-minded people. So it is important, yeah.
Can I ask you one more question about the ways that professionals that we deal with as caregivers, the doctor, the therapist, the special educator, the kind of, I wouldn't call them demands, but the pressure that they put on caregivers who, again, are always mothers. How do you deal with that as a caregiver who's also a professional, who is trying to juggle so many things? And how do you manage in that situation?
I think it's quite difficult because like I think I spend a lot of time with my son, and he's now experiencing puberty and all the I would say dysregulation related to the emotional upheavals. And when I mentioned thing about caregiver burnout, I feel that I have at this stage reached a point where I'm experiencing burnout as well. Because although I stay with him for very long duration, and I'm both a parent as well as his teacher for many things, a lot of anger that he has, or frustration related to his hormonal changes, etc., is directed towards me. So I feel that you may know a lot of things theoretically, but when you live it, it's very difficult. So yes, being a professional and a parent is quite a juggle, but I would still advise a lot of young parents and old parents to equip themselves with the knowledge, because you cannot be dependent on an external therapist all your life. The attrition rate for therapists is very high, and people are going to move out. They're not going to be in the same profession. So if you as a parent know how to work with your child, what strategies you can use, you can always ask for external support. But I think if you equip yourself with that knowledge, I think it would help you in good stead. Yeah.
Can I add one more thing? Actually, we had a neighbor, and she had, I think, 3 children. One of them had real special needs. And one of the things what happened is I mean, noticed initially it was fine. She had the energy, the passion. The passion continued. As she grew older, her biggest fear was what is going to happen to the kid after me. And that, I mean, very difficult to handle and even have a conversation. So So I mean, she's totally right. I think, you need to find time for yourself. It's like that same airline, right? First put the mask on yourself and then put it on the kid. Okay, that's the syndrome. My wife has been doing counseling at Seva, emotional counseling. There are sometimes she'll come after listening to a case and she'll be on it. And now I know, I mean, she needed counseling to get out of counseling. Okay, so it's sometimes scary. And I don't know there's any solution to this, but need to be aware and helpful. So,
Do you have a solution?
I think that's a very broader problem, and a lot of people need to come together to find a solution to that. Uh, but yes, what I like to add to it, communities really help in such situations, because in care companion program also we see though the patients and the family members in the session will come together for a very short duration of time, because that's 20 to 30 minutes. But after that, there are interactions, there are talks among people, like the fathers start to look from outside of the window that, can I come in? There, you are talking about the kid. I like, what is this KMC? Why it is important? And they have an interest there. So yes, definitely there are ways. And I think communities is one of the ways where we can get that support and strength for each other to take it further. But yes, currently, I don't think I have a solution to that. Yeah.
No, I think you just said it. I think exactly that, and probably only that, is forming communities. When Moi Moi was alive, I realized that I could not possibly handle all of her needs and mine and my other children's and my job. Impossible. So creating that community is what saved us all. And in creating that community, we found all kinds of wonderful, remarkable people just waiting for jobs or for something important to do or for connections, both people who needed help and people who were ready to give help. And I think that's really what Nayi Disha is all about, isn't it? That it's about creating communities. And here it is, this amazing group of people who have come together because everybody has that same issue that we're dealing with. And we found that the only solution is the community. And I think that's a great place to end on. I think our 5-minute thing had gone up quite a few minutes ago. And so I'll bring it to a close, but happy birthday, Nayi Disha. So proud to be part of this wonderful organization and to be with all of you. And thank you for this
thank you.
fantastic panel. Thank you very much.
A pleasure.
Thank you to all our panelists and of course Joe, but we request you to please be on stage. I would like to invite Mr. AP Ilango, CHRO Service Now, to felicitate our panelists and of course Joe. Mr. Tanmay Singh Pathani, Ms. Triveni Goswami, Mr. V. Laxmikanth, and of course Joe. A big round of applause for them. Can I now invite Nilima to please step up on stage? We would like to give a small token of appreciation to Mr. Ilango as well. So. Thank you, everyone. Before we move ahead, can we have a round of applause for my co-host Madhura for being such a natural as always? She has to tear herself away to attend another event tomorrow morning for Nayi Disha. So thank you, Madhura, and I'll miss you. We move on to the most anticipated event of this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long time, I understand. But the stories that you hear now will want you to stay put to your seat. We are now announcing the Nayi Disha Caregiver Changemaker Award, sponsored by Divis Foundation, which will be an annual recognition to celebrate and honor extraordinary family caregivers of individuals with disabilities, those who go beyond traditional care to inspire lasting change and build inclusive communities across India. This award is a tribute to their passion, perseverance, and purpose, to those who transform lives and champion dignity and opportunity for people with disabilities. The three winners today have been shortlisted from a list of 42 nominations, and believe me, it was a difficult job. When we announced this award, we thought we have a fair idea of the kind of work that is being done, but we were completely taken by surprise. And it's not just us, the external jury, which consisted of many prominent people working in this field, even they were taken by surprise by the kind of work that is being done. So I think we should just applaud the 42 nominees first before we go ahead. Before we move on to the actual felicitation, I'd like to invite our internal jury members, Sandeep and Rashmi, to the stage. Our internal jury members brought in different perspectives. Sandeep himself being a person with disability, and Rashmi and Soumya, who are both caregivers, brought in their own lived experience and perspective to the internal jury. Sandeep and Rashmi.
Good evening, everyone. Sharing my experience as the internal jury for the Nayi Disha Changemaker Caregiver Award, it was an honor for me. And going through the nominations evaluation, I found out some amazing people doing some wonderful work. And it felt like every nominee is an awardee. This experience gave me a glimpse of my own journey as a person with cerebral palsy and assistive device user. Whatever I am today, even the I'm speaking in front of all of you, the opportunities because of my family. And even today, they are my biggest support. And that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. Good afternoon, everyone. Like Sandeep rightly said, it was very difficult to narrow down just 8 from the 42 nominations we received. Soumya, Sandeep, and me, we had our share of agreements, disagreements to really bring it down and finalize to just a few of the many inspiring works that we saw, witnessed. But as a caregiver myself, it was just not going through nominations or, it was not an activity or a task. It hit home real close when I resonated going through all the, like Sandeep said, going through those nominations. I deeply resonated with many of them who had the questions, the initial struggles. But struggles soon turn into a realization that your child is, he's not lost. It's just a different path, I think, altogether. A path that needs us to listen, to find new ways. And all of the nominees, I think they did just that. The change makers, the caregivers, they're doing that and much more when they're finding new ways, not for themselves only, for others to walk again a bit more comfortably, I guess. So and then in the process redefining what actually development, progress, what it actually means or looks like. So big shout out to all the nominees, all the caregivers, and wishing everyone all the best, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep and Rashmi. I would also like to acknowledge our external jury members, Jo Chopra, Ms. Chitra Shah, and Ms. Meenu Bambani, who did perform this humongous task of arriving at the final three. And now, to do the honors, I would like to invite Mr. Pramod Gaddam from Divis Foundation to step on stage. I also request Prachi and Joe to join us on stage while we announce the winners of this award. Our first inspirational caregiver changemaker for today is Akhila Vaidyanath. She is the founder and director of the Amaze Charitable Trust. Akhila's journey began with her son Nishant, who was diagnosed with autism and apraxia of speech. Inspired by him, she founded the Amaze Charitable Trust in Coimbatore, a space that helps families navigate the neurodiversity maze and build inclusive communities. Through Amaze, she has empowered over 500 neurodiverse individuals, 3,000 parents and professionals, and 5,000 community members. We are proud to honor Akhila as a true caregiver changemaker.
Can you hear me? I was far and removed from being in the jury or being in the evaluation, but the fact that I saw Akhila's name in the application meant the world to me. I'm speaking on behalf of all the parents who are present here. Akhila is doing some fabulous work supporting so many families, and it's truly, truly an honor to felicitate her. Akhila, you're just amazing.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Nayi Disha, for this. Of course, we all don't work for this, do we? We work for our children. Yeah, the first inspiration is our children. And also, um, just to be able to fit in back into society. That's been the motivator for most of us as parents or siblings like you are. And so I take this award on behalf of every parent who's here, every sibling who's here, every educator who's here, everybody who's involved. And I think, looking forward to a society which is more inclusive. I'm so touched to get this from you, Joe, because I remember, I think about 25 years ago or more, we used to only have Google groups. And then there was an article by you in one of the groups. And then I wrote back to you, I don't know, you wouldn't remember me. So, yeah, so, the journey started then. My son is now 30. And yeah, I wanted to make the space more fun. So more, we have adventure camps, art festivals, stuff that we do. And everything that I've strived to do has been more where everyone can participate. So the person centric thing where if it's a camp, then it's about them. If it's an event, so if it's an online class, the children are there. So that's been an effort, and I hope that more and more people can take it forward. There are a lot of young moms there I'm cheering on for to take it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akhila. Our next winner is Pooja Sharma, founder and CEO, the Sarvodaya Collective. When her brother with an intellectual disability lost his job during the pandemic, Pooja Sharma turned that challenge into a mission. She founded the Sarvodaya Collective in Gurugram, Haryana, to make inclusion a lived reality. Through awareness and school-based programs, she has engaged thousands of youth and educators across India. Recognized globally by the Royal Society of Arts and 100, Pooja's vision of an inclusive dunya continues to inspire communities to see support and celebrate neurodiversity. I request Ms. Pooja Sharma to please come up on stage. If you could say a few words.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that introduction and for this recognition. I wanted to start by sharing a story. So in the pandemic, you referred to the story of how our personal experience inspired me to start working in this space through the pandemic. It started off with an awareness campaign, and there was much energy and gusto, and people got involved, and we ended up crowdfunding a seed pot. But once we had that done, I started getting this imposter syndrome because, I mean, when we talk about caregivers and when we talk about change makers, it's a lot of families, it's a lot of moms who've kind of learned on the job, know what needs to be done, know what change needs to come about. And I just felt like I didn't have enough knowledge or enough experience. And then a couple of months later, somebody had gone to school with back in 1993. So we're talking 2020. Somebody had gone to school with in 1993, reached out to me. She'd seen something about it on social media. And she said, I remember back when we were posted in Ganganagar, you always were with your brother when we were out in club evenings. You were always looking out for your brother, and you were always making sure that he was included. And that really kind of helped me acknowledge my role as a caregiver and kind of take on that identity. And from there is when we started building Inclusive Dunya. So I share this story to maybe highlight two things. Care is not just the formal care that happens through the early years. It's also the informal care. It's also showing up in attention. It's also widening the circle and including people in small ways. And that's what Inclusive Dunya is about. There was a lot of conversation. You mentioned community, you've mentioned community. There was conversation about burnout. And I think all of that happens because there's so much burden that falls on that primary caregiver. The work that we do at Inclusive Dunya is about kind of sharing that burden and sharing that burden beyond the family. So when we go out and when we speak to the neurotypical world, our focus is on neurodiversity. When we speak to the neurotypical world and help them figure out how they connect to the cause, how they would want to show up as a friend, I think that helps kind of lighten the burden as well. And I'm very, very grateful for where we've gotten to, because I'm standing here as a caregiver and accepting this award as a change maker. But I do want to say that in the first couple of years, like Malika showed up and helped me embrace the caregiver role, there's a lot of siblings and friends who showed up and volunteered their time, gave their money, gave their resources to help build the Sarvodaya Collective. I think the spirit of the collective comes from there. Change making is never a solo act. It's always a collective activity. And I really hope that we've gotten to a certain place, co-designing solutions and advocacy resources. And I really hope that this recognition, shining a light on the work that we do, will help more people adopt the resources that we've created for the community and take it forward and do more with it. Thank you so much.
So much to the power of siblings. Yay.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Prachi, and thank you, Dr. Gaddam. We also have a third winner who could not make it here in person. She is the founder, Mantra Foundation. A devoted Bijal Harkani, a devoted mother turned pioneer. She transformed her journey of raising her son Mantra, a young adult with Down syndrome, into a movement of inclusion. She founded Genius Super Kids, Gujarat's first integrated learning, and later the Mantra Foundation in Rajkot, supporting individuals through education, therapy, sports, and vocational training. Her work has impacted over 500 families, while her son Mantra, a two-time Special Olympics gold medalist and Pradhan Mantri Bal Puraskar awardee, continues to inspire hope across Gujarat. She has sent her acknowledgement video, which will be played out now.
दिशा से 2025 के लिए मिला है। नमस्कार, मेरा नाम बीजे हरखानी है। मैं राजकोट गुजरात से हूँ। मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि मुझे केयर गिवर चेंज मेकर अवार्ड नई दिशा से 2025 के लिए मिला है। मैं लास्ट 15 ईयर्स से स्पेशल नीड बच्चों के साथ काम कर रही हूँ। मैं एक स्पेशल मदर हूँ। मेरा बच्चा 23 ईयर्स का डाउन सिंड्रोम बॉय है और मैं स्पेशल एजुकेटर हूँ। मैंने स्पेशल बच्चों के लिए इंक्लूसिव सेटअप शुरू किया है और इन बच्चों के लिए फंक्शनल करिकुलम डेवलप किया है, जिसके लिए भी मुझे नेशनल अवार्ड मिला है। इन बच्चों के लिए हमने मंत्र फाउंडेशन मेरे बच्चे से प्रोत्साहित होकर शुरू किया है इन 2016, और यहाँ पे हम बच्चों को स्पेशल एजुकेशन, थेरेपीज एंड खास करके प्री वोकेशनल एंड वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग देते हैं। हमारा एक ही एम है कि ये बच्चे समाज में बिल्कुल इंक्लूजन पाए और खास करके इनके लिए वोकेशनल की बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज ओपन हो। मैं नई दिशा और उनके टीम मेंबर्स की बहुत आभारी हूँ। ऐसे अवार्ड्स होने चाहिए जिससे हमारे जैसे लोगों जो इस फील्ड में काम करते हैं उनको मोटिवेशन मिलता है और ज्यादा काम करने की प्रेरणा मिलती है। थैंक यू वेरी मच। नमस्कार, मेरा नाम बीजे हरखानी है। मैं राजकोट गुजरात से हूँ।
We also have 3 special mentions. Ms. Gauri Shivkumar, co-founder, program head, We Nurture Foundation. Shweta Srivatsan, parent inclusion champion, Not That Different by Bokosmia. And Kamlesh Kumar Dhiman, founder, managing trustee, Charu Foundation. We now head towards a short break for refreshments. We'll begin with the doodle art that we left you with. I now invite Lavanya on stage to tell us about the Circle of Care. Lavanya is a caregiver herself and a special educator. She heads the helpline team and support groom team at Nayi Disha. With deep empathy and her own personal experience as a parent, she has been a beacon of hope and the guiding light of many of our parents who have reached out to us through the support groups, helpline, or our Saksham training program. So, Lavanya, over to you.
Thank you so much, Pravda. Good evening, one and all. I think for the past 10 minutes or more than that, you've been looking at the screen. So wondering what is this all about? So I just thought I'll just speak about it for a few minutes. So as you've seen, this is all about the circle of care. So all this started with love. The parents' love that set a tiny boat afloat with a child and a dream on board. At first, the water seemed calm, but as the journey began, the waves rose. Waves made of systems, policies, and expectations. Sometimes pushing them forward, sometimes pulling them under. And in those moments, they wondered, will we ever find our way? It. Even in the roughest tides, love became the ocean itself. Deep, steady, and endless. Their families became their anchors. Siblings who understood, grandparents who believed, and their inner compass, that quiet instinct that always pointed toward their child's well being. Beneath the surface, something magical thrives. The coral reef, an ecosystem that gives life to the entire ocean. That's the parent network. A living web of connection where space, strength, and support intertwine. It's what the ocean of caregivers alive, whispering to every parent, you are not alone. Around them, dolphins and seagulls. Their friends bring laughter, lightness, and moments of joy that heal more than words ever could. And in the distance stands the lighthouse. The therapists, the teachers, mentors, steady, constant, shining light just long enough for them to see their next step. Through all this, they learned something profound. It's not the size of the storm that defines them, but how they hold the oars together. The clouds remind them to pause, to breathe, to care for their own mind and hearts. Because self-care isn't selfish. It's what keeps the journey going. And when the clouds part, the sunlight breaks through, a symbol of hope, courage, and inclusion. The light they have been sailing towards. Today, as we celebrate 10 years of Nayi Disha, we realize this was never one journey. It was thousands of boats, each sailing through the same sea, sometimes drifting apart, but always connected by waves of compassion. Together, we have turned uncertainty into direction and love into movement. The journey of a caregiver doesn't end when the sea calms. Continues. It continues, but stronger, wiser, and more radiant than before. Because now we know inclusion isn't the shore we reach someday. It is the sunlight that guides us every single day. Thank you so much, one and all.
Thank you, Lavanya. We now move on to felicitating the pillars of Nayi Disha's journey, our parent champions. Over the past 10 years, our parent champions have been the heart and soul of this journey. These are caregivers who have transformed personal challenges into purpose, reaching out to others, supporting families, spreading awareness, and building communities of hope. Today, we pause to celebrate these incredible people, from building communities in their own towns to owning and conducting Nayi Disha's flagship program, Abhivyakti, to being the guiding light and pillar strength in our support groups. They have done it all. For the first set of awards, I would like to invite Mr. Chetan Kapoor and Dr. Pratima Giri from Rainbow Hospital on stage. Prachi, we would like you to join, and Lavanya, who heads our support groups, if we can have her back on stage. So the first 4 parent champions, as I call out the name, please step onto the stage for the felicitation. We start with Ms. Deepa Desai, Ms. Hima Bindu, Mr. Jagmohan Gaur, all the way from Bhopal, Ms. Jaya Balaji, ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for our parent champions.
I'm probably messing up the schedule, but
We would like you to felicitate Dr. Pratima Giri with a small token of appreciation.
Jaya, Jaya, Jaya. Where's Deepa? Come, forget it. Can I speak for 1 minute?
Please.
Okay. I just want to share a few stories. Jaya, Deepa here have been with Nayi Disha for every Abhivyakti that has happened in Hyderabad. Hima has been our go-to person for all queries about cerebral palsy, and she's been with us throughout. I still remember our first meeting, Hima. And GM Gaurji has come all the way from Bhopal. He has created a community in Bhopal, and we have just been speaking about how do we do more in Bhopal. So I think while we as a team, and of course I've been the only one standing on the stage, it has been the effort of the team and effort of the parent champions which truly got us here.
Prachi and Lavanya, you have to be on stage for some more time. I would like to invite Mr. Srikanth, VP NASCOM, and Dr. Sana Smriti, our clinical director, on stage for the next set of awards. As I call out the names, I would want the next four parents to come up on stage. Ms. Jaya Sudhakar, Ms. Nibedita Kar, Ms. Prachi Puranik, and Ms. Prashanti Mamadi. Sorry if I've spelled it wrong, pronounced the name wrong.
So Jaya, while Nayi Disha is a resource center, Jaya Sudhakar is the Chalta Filta Resource Center across. Prachi Puranik is all the way here from Pune, and she is the one who has helped build the Pune community. Nibedita ji is coming from Jamshedpur. She has built the community in Jamshedpur. And Prashanti, of course, has been supporting so many parents on WhatsApp groups probably since WhatsApp was formed.
Prachi, a small token of appreciation for Mr. Srikanth. And any of our parent champions, if you wish to say a few words. Thank you, Sana and Mr. Srikanth. You can join the audience. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, so thank you so much. I'm here only because of Prachi and my son. That is the main purpose and the reason that I stand here. What I want to say is, it is one thing for a leader or a person who starts an organization with a vision, but it's the most important thing to percolate and to instill that vision into each of the people that you work with. So I think Prachi is the person who has charged us, who has motivated us to work for that vision. And I think her vision we are taking to places where the parents are actually not having the resources, or they are really looking for answers for their questions. So I think Prachi's vision we are trying to take to people who are looking for that answers. But I bow to her vision and her purpose with what she has started. And for me, it has really given me a Nayi Disha. Thank you.
So Prachi might be a little tense now that I got the mic. So I always tell that, we are parent champions. They gave the tag, but we are the personal coaches of Prachi for many years. I mean, that's a joke side, but recently, like my son was in a very danger situation, like life or death. And we were almost rejected by almost all the hospitals, and we were running for help. Then I connected a parent through Nayi Disha, and a sort of bond formed with that parent. So I called him, and he immediately asked me to bring my child there. You know, if not for Nayi Disha, I don't know how the situation would have been by now. But yeah, thankful for everything. Thank you, Prachi, for the resources. And yes, still the definition remains the same. We are the personal coaches of Prachi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think I'm going to take this opportunity. Sorry, one more minute. All the physicians here, all the doctors here, this is just one story. We hear this in our community quite often that our children are denied healthcare. Why? Because the doctors who are looking at them find it very difficult to work with the child. And I don't think any child, any young adult should be denied healthcare. So there is a lot of work for us to do over here, how we can work towards it.
Thank you to all our parents. Prachi, do you think this is the right time to talk about a fellowship?
Yes, thank you. So the concept of parent champions came up organically because when we started, we had nothing. We started from scratch, and there were so many amazing parents who volunteered, and we started with the parent championship. Organically, we brought some structure to it. There are ways we work with WhatsApp groups, and you'll read a lot of stories in the reports also there. But if there's one thing Ashoka Fellowship, just getting the title, has taught me is, again, systemic change and how can we have a multiplier effect. I hate myself for using all these jargons, sorry. But we are very excited to launch a Satya Fellowship in the coming year. This fellowship will bring us structured support for our parents who want to be volunteers, who want to champion, and who want to bring local communities. The team has designed a beautiful program, and I am extremely excited about it because having this fellowship will mean that we are creating communities in district towns and building local support system in district towns. I'm just about to, I think in next 1 week, because we have spoken about it, I should find a supporter and a donor for it. And once we do that, January, the fellowship will begin. But really very excited about how fellowship can play a role in building parent communities across.
Thank you, Prachi. We move on to the next set of parents. For this, I would like to invite on stage Mr. EAVS Ramesh, CHRO and Head CSR Callright Group, India. We extend a very warm welcome to Ms.Manmeet Kaur Nanda, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Your presence here means a lot to us. We also extend a very warm welcome to Dr. B.V. Kramkumar, Director of NIPID. Thank you, sir, for being here today. So as I call out the name, can we have the next set of parent champions on stage? Shailaja Nori, Shweta Srivastav, and Triveni Goswami Vernal. We've already seen Triveni on stage today. Thank you. Prachi, we would like to give Sir a small token of appreciation. So just to give you the context, ma'am, we are felicitating our parent champions who lead the efforts that we do towards community building. Thank you. We would now like to call upon stage Ms.Manmeet Kaur Nanda to address the audience. As we've already mentioned, she is Additional Secretary, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. She has been serving in this position since April 2025. Prior to this, she held the position of Joint Secretary and was honored with the Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Public Administration in 2016. A passionate leader with a deep commitment to public service and social policy, Ms. Nanda continues to drive initiatives that foster inclusion and empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Nanda onto the stage to say a few words.
Namaskaram, a very good evening to one and all. I believe there are students, teachers, champion parents, professionals, caregivers, the entire Nayi Disha family here. It is indeed my pleasure to join you, even though we're at the fag end of the program. But I think at this significant occasion of celebrating your 10 years, I think celebrating 10 years of commitment, of supporting persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities is indeed not a small number. It probably represents a decade full of hope, of struggles that have made each one of you stronger, of families finding trust, of institutions adapting, of individuals realizing their dignity and potential. So, what you are celebrating today is definitely nothing short of a milestone. But it's important that every goal and every achievement should be celebrated, big or small. The department that I belong to under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment works for the facilitation, the empowerment of persons with disabilities. Sadly, the only census figure that we can quote as per government is the 2011 census so far. We are hoping that the next census reveals other figures. But as per that census, there are only 2.21% of the population suffering from disabilities. And with the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, we recognize 21 categories of disabilities. But along with that, I think we also together recognize that disability is not a charity, and it is a matter of right, it is a matter of dignity, it is a matter of access. And the department definitely celebrates and launches many initiatives, all enhancing these mandates of accessibility, of employment, of making infrastructure, both built environment and digital, accessible. And at the core of it is inclusion and empowerment of these people. And these are not mere slogans for each one of us. I have with me also Dr. Ram, who represents the National Institute, based very much here in Hyderabad. Nipid, who has done exceptional work, I think. But over these entire years, I think Nipid has been able to create a kind of a system, and that can be recognized not just nationally, but internationally. An autonomous body under a department. It has done exemplary work, but the most recent one that I would like to focus on, its recent noteworthy initiatives, is the Disha curriculum that it has established, standardized, and launched with the Jai Vakil Foundation. And I think many of you should try and understand what it is, and also try and emulate it and inculcate it in wherever that you can use it. Today, I also saw the entire institute, saw its entire functioning, the number of rehabilitative services it provides. I also saw and met with the children, the faculty. The one core point that I can see, and led by its director, Dr. Ram Kumar, and the entire faculty and students, is the passion and the sincerity with which they work there. And I think it conducts that sincerity in the training of educators and therapists, Their sincerity is there in the research that they are undertaking in disability related technology and its coordination with many community based organizations such as yours as well. And I think these today's day would probably bring back many stories of how and where different milestones were achieved and celebrated. Probably whenever a mother would have probably heard the words of developmental delay and then fell lost. And that journey where she connected with family like yours, learned simple intervention techniques, and found hope. I think that seems to be the core of what Nayi Disha stands for. The government also is indeed trying to change itself and is coming out with many relevant new initiatives. The Accessible India campaign or the Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan has been relaunched with its app that is now available at the App Store and at the iOS. It is an app that gives you not just information about different services available, but different schemes that people with disabilities can take interest in and can have interest in that and take advantage of. It is also an app by which you can lodge your grievances or reach out to individuals like me or national institutes to um, give into your query and find a response to it, or at least help us direct you in the correct direction. We also have had MOUs with many startups working in the field of assisted technology. We would be housing them at our national institutes. We have signed MOUs with probably 100 such startups, private sector organizations, stakeholders, NGOs who have done work pioneering in these fields, whether it is through assistive technology or with apps that help us monitor, help us to educate ourselves better, parent support groups to increase awareness about different issues. So I think the government also realizes that this is a sector that it can't work in a silo. It requires very coordinated efforts of the private sector, of the researchers, the academia, the stakeholders, the parents, and all stakeholders together need to be converged and make use of data, digital tools, and technology to ensure finally digital inclusion and the correct type of interventions that may be required. Um, to all the caregivers and families here, I think your persistence, your belief, your advocacy has been foundational for this sector. You are, and often very quietly and less celebrated, are the backbone of every change in this ecosystem. And when you connect with organizations like our national institutes, our CRCs, or organizations like Nayi Disha, it is with your sharing of stories and support you build this community. And that's when you turn isolation into solidarity. So I believe that with organizations like yours and with the department and the innovative work done by our national institutes and with our MOUs with the private sector, we can raise the partnerships to scale in this ecosystem. And with that scale, we can connect to better policy making, better systems, and better reactions for the entire ecosystem as a whole. um, I feel that we should also listen to us children, to our youth, to our adults, because their voice matters, understand their strengths, and not just support them, but see their potential everywhere, ensuring dignity in every interaction and every service and job that we see for them and provide for them. And I hope this collaboration across sectors, both government, civil society, family, schools, workplaces, becomes stronger as we take this conversation forward. Thank you once again for your patience and for having me here with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I would request Prachi to please come up on stage to felicitate ma'am. Ma'am, should I hold? Thank you, ma'am. We request you to be seated on stage. I would like to now extend a very warm welcome to Dr. B.V. Ramkumar, Director of NIPIT. Sir, if you could step up on stage also. Dr. Ramkumar has a long history of working with health and social development sector and has played a key role in initiatives like the NIPID intelligence test. I request Prachi to felicitate Dr. Ramkumar as well. We now continue with felicitating our parent champions who have been the heart and soul of our journey for the past 10 years. They have transformed personal challenges into building communities. As I call out your names, please walk up on stage. Ms. Vandana Devi Reddy. Okay, Ms. Vidya Krishna Kumar. Ms. Yamini Nishthala. And we also wish to honor a long-term volunteer, Ms. Sunita Ponepureddy. I request ma'am and sir to please do the honors and felicitate our parent champions. Thank you. You can join the audience. Thank you so much. After this, we have a wonderful performance by young adults with developmental disabilities, which is called Beyond the Boundary. It tells the moving journey of a family determined to nurture their neurodiverse child with care and understanding. While we announce, can we have the stage set up, please? So I repeat, it tells the moving journey of a family determined to nurture their neurodiverse child with care and understanding. The story follows Vinayak and his parents, who consistently searched for the right learning environment and supportive guidance for him. While many viewed Vinayak simply as a challenging autistic child, his parents believed deeply that with the appropriate support, he would discover meaningful ways to express himself. Their perseverance led them to a compassionate network of educators and professionals who guided them forward. Eventually, Vinayak found a school that fostered his holistic growth, unlocking his potential and helping him blossom into a confident and accomplished sportsperson. This skit is lovingly performed by the special students of Shraddha School, Shankar Foundation, under the direction of Soumya Maheshwaran of Amaya, a drama for autism initiative. I have one request, audience, please maintain silence and have a little patience. They are a young performance with developmental disabilities. So let's hear a huge round of applause for them first. They've been waiting very patiently in the wings.
Good evening, on. Today we are going to witness an autistic child, Vinayak, and his caregivers' journey towards growth. Students of Shankar Foundation Shraddha School present this kid before you. Vinayak was 10 years old and autistic. His loving parents understood his way of expression and needs, but the world saw Vinayak as incapable living normal life. One day, Vinayak went to market with his father to buy earrings for his mother. Let us see what happened now.
What should we cook today?
I am very tired today.
Okay, let's go buy chapatis. Here's the shop.
Okay, let's go.
At the past empty from butter.
Earrings? There is a shop.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
All children, parents, teachers, siblings.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Poor child.
Seeing the crowd and hearing loud noises, Vinayak was overcome and started running around. Thankfully, other people helped him to stop him from running. The father were helpless and did not know what to do. Vinayak's behavior challenges were increasing every day. Therefore, his school also gave up on his support, making the parents more worried in this matter.
Mr. Mr. Ramkrishna, we have to talk about your son Vinayak.
What is it, sir?
Please tell me, sir.
We won't have support for your artistic son here. Please take him to another school.
Oh my God.
It's okay, Nanya.
Mother started having sleepless nights. One day, she shared her worries with her niece Aishi, who was a tech-savvy child searching for a helpline number that gave guidance to caregivers. The autism community. Let us see how Autism Support Network guided Vinayak's mother.
I am very worried about Vinayak. I don't know whom to ask for help. I am very worried about Vinayak. I don't know whom to ask for help. Atia. What is it? Let's call. Okay. Hello?
Hello, Autism Support Network. How may I help you?
Please suggest a good school for my autistic son.
Sure. I send you your phone number.
Send you all the details.
I send you all the details, your phone number.
Thank you.
Well, you are welcome.
Having a foundation center that supports sensory, physical, cognitive, auditory, academic, life skills oriented growth for their autism son Vinayak, the parents felt relief. Let us see what Vinayak is doing at his new school.
Vinayak, walk on the grass without your shoes. Okay, teacher. It is a cool.
Good boy.
Is it a chair? Is it a chair? This is a special chair. When you are sit on it, you can bounce your leg on the band.
Slowly, Vinayak was able to regulate his sensory needs and started focusing on his overall growth in cognitive life skills or the academics. That year, Vinayak also participated in the friendly
Sit
cricket
on the
match.
ball. Vinayak, please sit on the therapy ball for 10 minutes. Good boy.
Please stay still. Where is the square and triangle? That is triangle. This is good boy.
Slowly, Slowly, Vinayak was able to regulate his sensory needs and started focusing on his overgrowth, cognitive life skills, and academics. That year, Vinayak also participated in the friendly cricket match with with the students of his previous school and made his teachers and parents proud of him and on his own growth.
Welcome to the friendly cricket match. I hope you enjoyed today.
Master Vinayak is going to be hit the final ball of this last over, which will decide if his team lose or win. Or lose. Now I am bowling.
Oh no!
Vinayak, I'm sorry that our school cannot give you the right guidance, but your present school turned you into a young sports person. I I promise you that all school will also learn to adapt to the neurodiverse students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Is disability is for my parents, status, or my friends.
And thus, Vinayak's parents decided to volunteer at the Autism Support Network so that they can also help more parents find the right path towards their child development.
Dear all,
children, parents, teachers, siblings, friends, and professionals. A big shout out to the neurodiverse community and to all those from the neurotypical world who stand beside us. We children make a humble request. Understanding and adapting are the keys to helping us, the future generation, grow. Let us remember that difference is not a weakness, it is another form of genius. Together, let's build a world where every neurodiverse mind has the freedom to shine. Together, we rise. Together, we understand. Together, we create a kinder world.
3, 2, 1, go.
Can all the performers be on stage? We want to felicitate them. If you can be on stage. I would like to invite Shruti Nair from Ashoka Foundation to please come up and felicitate our young performers. One chair, we need. There is these chairs. Prachi, if you could join them on stage. Then Sudarshana. No, Sudarshana's coming. You could just hand it over to her.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for being such a wonderful audience. I just read out the names of all the great performers here. Sharat. Come forward, Sharat, please. R. Ananya. R. Ananya. Nikhilesh. Ayushi. Rohan. Samira. M. Ananya. Devian. Come forward. Ramakrishna. Deepika. Aparna. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. One round of applause again for all our wonderful performers. And Soumya, of course. Thank you. Thank you so much. Felicitation. I'd request Sudarshana to please felicitate Shruti. Shruti, thank you so much. Yes. Shruti, we request you to remain on stage for a short while. To come. You have to go this way. I'll hold her. You want me to go? You okay? No. Yeah. I request Sudarshana to do the honors. Thank you. Thank you so much. I now call upon Nidhi to propose the vote of thanks. Oh, can we have Soumya back on stage, please? I request Prachi to do the honors. Prachi. Thank you, Soumya. Thank you, Prachi. I call upon Nidhi on stage to propose the vote of thanks. I request Chitra to be there as well on stage. They've worked in the background to make this event happen. Toiled is the word, I think.
As we come close, as we come to the close of this wonderful celebration, I extend a heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Mr.GV Prasad and Ms.Manmeet Kaur Nanda for gracing the occasion and inspiring us with their presence. Our sincere thanks to the Divis Foundation for sponsoring the Caregiver Changemaker Awards, and to all our awardees and parent champions for reminding us what true leadership and courage looks like. A big thank you to our donors and partners for their unwavering belief in Nayi Disha's mission, and to T-Hub for their generous support with the venue and logistics.
We also wish to acknowledge our board member, Mr. Hari, for his active involvement and guidance in making this event possible. Hari, you're here. A big shout out for you. Above all, our deepest gratitude to every parent and caregiver who continues to light the path forward. A big thank you to our past and present team members whose dedication and hard work have got us to this juncture. As we celebrate 10 years of Nayi Disha, we renew our collective vows to reach more families, build stronger communities, and make inclusion a lived reality across India. The next decade call upon each of us, parents, professionals, partners, and friends, to carry this torch higher, further. Together, let us continue this movement with renewed energy, deeper compassion, and an unshakable belief that every family deserves guidance, connection, and hope. And thank you so much. It was a lovely evening. It was lovely having you here tonight. Thank you so much.